Alrighty, folks. Yes, I finally did it. I finally made it all the way through WhiteSnake Into the Light. These solo albums, revisited, remixed, remastered. I did more than make it through them. I've made it through them numerous times, at least 4. I guess if nobody saw my riveting unboxing, I'll go through this real quick again. So inside you get a little poster of the debut album. I just want to see something here. Oh, I can see it right there. Yeah, he did change the logo on there, because if you ever know the original WhiteSnake logo, it was one word, but the S was also capitalized. So there's that poster. Then you get this 60-page booklet, which is it's really, there's not that much information on the actual CDs themselves. The vast majority, I mean, there's some, but the vast majority of this is like an interview, probably about this project and putting all this stuff together. I glossed over it. I didn't really read it. Now onto the CDs. I'm not going to go through these like I normally would, because otherwise we'd be here forever, and nobody wants that. So the first ones up are, you got the Into the Light 2024. This is a remix. So on this album, and so, pardon me if I read a little bit, but there's no way I can remember all this stuff. So the first song, She Gives Me. That one's got a real Coverdale Page vibe to it, and so does another song on this album called Cry for Love. Then your next one is called River Song. It's got the Stormbringer meets Bridge of Sighs type of vibe on that one. Don't You Cry, kind of a typical 80s power ballad type thing. Love is Blind kind of has a Gordon Lightfoot type of vibe to it. It's got some strings in there. Slave is what I would, it's very much like an 80s WhiteSnake, later 80s WhiteSnake song. The next two, Midnight Blue and Too Many Tears, these almost have a country, adult contemporary vibe to them. Don't Lie to Me, classic WhiteSnake sounding song. Then you got All the Time in the World, which has a Faces feel to it. The 12th song is called Wherever You May Go, and there's a duet. That's a duet, and I can't remember the girl's name. But let me tell you, if those 2 country songs that I mentioned and this one, if they were sung by somebody else, they would be hits on the radio. I mean, they're well-crafted songs, well-written, well-performed. I just don't think when somebody at the radio station hears David Coverdale that they're going to rush out and try and get it up to on their top 40. But like I said, if some contemporary artists did it, they would definitely be hits. Yours for the Asking has a real Judgment Day type of vibe on it. And then the last song is called Let's Talk It Over, and it's like 8 minutes long. But it's got a 70s power ballad feel to it, but you don't get the 5-minute guitar solo in it. And so the next one is Into the Light. These are additional remixes, demos, then Unfinished Symphonies with David Coverdale and Tony Franklin, and original demos with Tony Franklin. So a lot of this is like the first one on here is Love is Blind. That was also on the other CD, but this is the band version. And it actually kind of sounds like, I said the other one had kind of a Gordon Lightfoot feel to it. This one kind of has a Richard Marx type feel to it. So I definitely prefer the strings version. As Long as I Have You, 60s vibe, kind of doo-woppy. With All My Heart, like I don't know why these songs, I'm assuming he was maybe working on another solo album, never got to it, because these songs aren't from anything else. I mean, they could be B-sides to something or that I don't know about. With All of My Heart, that's kind of like a 50s type ballad. The fourth song is called Lust, and it's got a real 80s vibe to it, but it's got like big band horns to it. So 80s vibe, maybe like 80s production, because it's got these big band horns, and it kind of like got a swing beat to it. Oh No, Not the Blues Again, another swing type song with horns. So then we got Wherever You May Go, Love Is Blind. Those are just the strings only versions of those, and it's just strings. Then you got a bunch of these on here. Like I said, these are demos with Tony Franklin. Some of them are called Unfinished Symphonies. Some of them called Original David Coverdale demos. That's pretty much the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's say 11 songs. But these are fully orchestrated, complete songs. The only thing they're missing is the lyrics. So it's kind of weird that they were never finished. Maybe Coverdale just couldn't come up with lyrical ideas for the songs, but these songs are fully fleshed out. They sound like, I mean, if you put them on an album and call it an instrumental, nobody would think twice about it. Except maybe they'd say, you know what, this song would be better if they put some lyrics to it. So I don't know what the deal is, why none of these things got finished. Then Crazy About Ya is an unfinished version of Whipping Boy Blues. If You Want Me is another demo instrumental. And then Let Your Love On Me is an unfinished version of Lay Your Love Down. So lots of unfinished tracks on this one, instrumentals for lack of a better term. But I mean, they're all really well done. The symphonies, like I said, these are about 9 tracks that are called the Unfinished Symphonies. I mean, they got fully incorporated strings and everything on there. And I'm guessing since Tony Franklin's on here, that named on the CD itself, that he and David Coverdale wrote these things. So like I said, they're fully flushed out songs that just don't have lyrics to them. Then we get the NorthWinds 2024 remix. So like I said, I did not know about Into the Light, that Coverdale release. Of course, I did know, of course, about NorthWinds and WhiteSnake. I just never got around to picking them up because they're pretty pricey, which is why when I saw this coming out, I was like, oh man, I'm going to grab that. So this 2024 remix, and the first song is called Keep On Giving Me Love. I'm like, man, that sounds like a WhiteSnake song. I'm going to have to look that up. And sure enough, the first WhiteSnake release as a band under David Coverdale's WhiteSnake, not the WhiteSnake album that preceded it, was called Snakebite. It was a 4-song EP. Later on, they re-released it, and they added 4 tracks to it, and all 4 of those tracks came from NorthWinds, which tells you that he was already veering towards the his Whitesnake direction. I guess all these other experiments in sound and singing styles, and he finally decided that he was going to go back to being a rocker. So yeah, on here you got Keep On Giving Me Love, Queen of Hearts, Breakdown, and what's the other one on here? Can't even read my own writing. Queen of Hearts, Only My Soul, is that it? I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, so those are straight up, I mean, there's a reason they put them on that re-release of the Snakebite, because they sound exactly like Whitesnake songs. Then Sweet Mistreater's the second song. That's an AOR blues tune. The title track is very Bad Company-ish. Give Me Kindness has a lot of Little Feat in it. Then Time and Again. There's 3 versions of that on this one. The first one is the strings version, and it's just kind of a sappy ballad. Then you get Time and Again, which is the piano version, which it's actually much better in my opinion than the strings version. The piano version makes it sound more like a classic ballad, whereas the strings version kind of makes it sound a little pompous and pretentious. Then Time and Again is a last track, and it's strings only, and it's just strings. There's no vocals to it at all. Then we get to Whitesnake 1977, and I'm sure he just retitled this. Well, one, because it's a remix, but so that they wouldn't confuse people wouldn't confuse it with the thinking they're getting a 1987 remix. So the first track on here is Lady, Fog Hat type boogie song. Blind Man is the second song, which it would show up on Ready and Willing. Goldie's Place, it's a slow bluesy number. It's got horns in it. Time on My Side, it sounds like old school Whitesnake, early Whitesnake, bluesy number. Peace, Lovin' Man, it's like, again, Stormbringer meets the Rolling Stones. That's what the vibe I get with that one. Sunny Days, as soon as the song started playing, the song that popped into my head was Bloody Luxury by Whitesnake. So it's that kind of vibe to it. Hole in the Sky, another sappy ballad. Coverdale likes his sappy ballads. Whitesnake, the title track. It sounds like old school Whitesnake, early Whitesnake. It's even got a talk box in it. Then Celebration is the last song. Sounds like it could have easily been on Stormbringer album. Then the last part of the CD is a 7 songs called Young Lad Blues, and it's Coverdale's 1968 home demos. So that's crazy. He's recording these demos at his house. I'm assuming his house. I'm pretty sure he was raised posh. So you get these, and they're all kind of acoustic. You got hints of Cat Stevens in here, Simon and Garfunkel in here, America, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, of course. So which, of course, all those guys were big around that time, weren't they? So that's pretty cool hearing him, way back in 1968. Now your final CDs are your Into the Light remaster. and your NorthWind, well, your WhiteSnake and NorthWinds, they just combined it on one CD, Remastered. In my opinion, I don't really care for the remasters. They're not terrible. Like some people, you know, they remaster an album and people are like, oh my God, they completely ruined this album. That's not the case here. They're just a little thin sounding to me compared to the remixes. So I definitely prefer the remix versions of those. Not to mention the fact that the remix versions have all the extra tracks on them. So it was a really interesting trip into Coverdale. I mean, he showed off a wide variety of styles here. They were all really well done, so I give this easily 8.5 out of 10. Now, if you are a late 80s Whitesnake fan, you might want to proceed with caution. If you're an early Whitesnake fan, there's probably plenty on here to like. If you're a David Coverdale fan, you're definitely going to like it. So let me hold up the cover one more time. For all you who may have been unaware that this was even released. Whitesnake, Into the Light. The solo albums, revisited, remixed, remastered. 8.5 out of 10. You guys have a good one.